Greetings. Elder Blacklight here. Now, we got to get quickly in motion, talk about what's going on because the enemy, the enemy is moving rapidly. Now, today we're going to talk about aggression and the numbness of the black man. This brother, Sinetta, he started out strong. See, this is what I want to convey to the viewing and listening audience, that brothers, your leaders and people you look up to, they got a large following. I mean, that ain't my motive, is to knock their hustle or knock their fan base or whatever. But we in critical times. The enemy is advancing. He's using unseen aggression. And the leaders that we have now, they're not addressing key issues. Now, we're going to get into this brother's format just a minute. But I got a different way I see some of the information that he's displaying. So this, I don't know if this is a recent upload of one of his videos, but check it out.
From the 60s up until now, like what do you see different between us? What happened?
It's a big difference. Like today, they talk about the feminization of the black male, and they generally shift the weight on the youth. Okay, because the youth in our communities is what they call bisexual, and fluid is another. Oh, fluid, that they go either way. They go with the flow, and their sexuality is questioned by virtue of not having sex for the purpose of procreation, and even in the recreational aspect of it, they having it in an unproductive way, in that a man having sex with a man, homosexual activity, you can't make no babies. A woman having sex with a woman, you can't make no babies. So that's definitely counterproductive to the procreative process of people's survival. Okay? And the youth don't really understand that, because they think that they being free sexually by a boy having things with boys and girls having things with girls. But when you look at the overall picture, it's the same as when you separate a people, as we was during slavery, and you put the men on the plantation in one area where they can't get to the women, and the women in another area on the plantation where they can't get to the men. They totally separated as a family, and nobody is having sex and making babies, so they turn it in on their own self. So this same thought of indoctrination is transferred from the slave plantation to modern day, in the sense of a slave mentality.
Now let me stop it right there. The brother's almost on it, but he's not quite on it. On the slave plantation, they had scientists, they were breeding a permanent slave. Breeding. This took place for over, 200 or 300 years. You got a lot of generations in that period of time coming up. And so they actually had sex farms. And they had a breeding method where they would break in a black woman, and they had bucks, black bucks, just for breaking women in but not getting them pregnant. And if they didn't participate, they would get castrated. And so they would send a female slave to be broken in, and they would keep the buck separate from the females because he didn't want them getting pregnant. He didn't want the females getting pregnant. Now, they were breeding, just like you breed a thoroughbred horse, or or they could uh, breed uh, any kind of way they want to, just like pit bulls. Like some guys crossbreed pit bulls, different pit bulls, whatever. And if they want to if they might have a cur pit bull, well then they would eliminate them. And then they also had farms where they had kept women just to entertain their different guests, and men who would entertain their guests, and they would be bisexual. The men, the Caucasian men, are homosexuals and bisexuals. So they kept our foreparents around just for that purpose.
And unproductive as a people. If our young boys is having sex with young boys almost exclusively, they ain't making no babies. If our young women is licking and spitting on each other, they ain't making no babies. So it is really genocidal, death to the black nation if that's the way that they going. All that's in accord with the feminization of the young black boys. But before that, it had to be the men of our nation wasn't on point to set examples like Malcolm and the Father and Muhammad Ali in this time and U.E.P. Newton and many of the great black brothers that stood up set of how to be a man. How to have a family. Every time you see Malcolm, he was with his family. He had his family. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he had his family. A woman by his side, a black woman, strong by his side. Sister Clara Muhammad took care of the Nation of Islam when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was chased from Detroit to Chicago, or either when he was in prison.
Now, when you say trace from Detroit...
Chase. Yeah.
Who was tracing them? Was it FBI or was it other black men?
It was other black men.
For what? Like, what happened?
Well, they claimed that he took on more of Master Farad Muhammad's persona and responsibility of saying that he was the supreme minister at that time. And they were saying that no, Master Farad is the one and you just another minister. And it was his brother, John, and a few others that
Now,
accept Elijah.
I got to stop it right there.
As the messenger.
No, it wasn't.
But Elijah was given...
Nah, brother. I got to correct him on that. It was before the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wasn't in the Nation of Islam from its birth, from the beginning. They had another minister, Master Farad Muhammad had another minister. I can't recall his name right now. But this minister was, you could say, the right-hand man of Master Farad for that period of time. But some say this minister was the agent. And then when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad joined, it was sometime later. It wasn't right in the beginning of the foundation. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad joined, it seemed to be like he was the one that Master Farad was looking for. So this other minister got jealous. So he started planting rumors and doing things to bring down the nation. But John Muhammad, the younger brother, don't forget now, I sat with John Muhammad and for a long time and interviewed him and talked with him. He was the younger brother. And he was in those, when Master Farad would teach, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in his house, sometimes John Muhammad would be there. He the younger brother. He was just learning. So I don't know how the rumor got out that he chased him out, but it was this other minister that was the top minister. And when Elijah Muhammad came, he Master Farad favored Elijah Muhammad over this other minister. And the other minister got jealous. It was a lot of spies back in them days. A lot of agents, FBI agents in the nation trying to stop the growth. And but this one minister who was the top minister before the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it could have been just jealousy or envy that motivated him to try to run the Honorable Elijah Muhammad out, especially when Master Farad Muhammad left the nation. And some say they both were ran out, Master Farad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I don't know, I wasn't back there, but this is what I was told. Black light.